Okay, this is a sample of an org chart for quality control, just to give you an idea of what we've seen on some projects. So again, these are things you may want to put into your RFQ or RFP, depending on how you want to pump up the industry to see what they'll supply you with and submit to you, as an example. So how's that look for an org chart to you? Or for a contractor's qualifications? Anything there jump out at you?
They're asking about what's this course. It's a national technician training course.
Oh, okay, on the bottom right, we've got the NETTCP. It's in, it's just an example of some state. In northeast of America, the National, or Northeast Training and Transportation Certification Program. It's a program where 8+ states have agreed on the certification requirements for reciprocity, meaning they can work their certified staff that's been passed and certified by taking that class training, that they have a certain bar of requirements, and by taking that training, say an inspector in Massachusetts can go up to New York and work, or even in Virginia, and vice versa. It's just a way to help provide a workforce that's met a certain level of competency. The past year we've been trying to have other, like on the West Coast it's called WACTAC, take up the same approach, which would be Washington State, Oregon, California, Nevada, New Mexico, Idaho as an example. I'm sorry, Utah. But there's different nuances between each state, so we haven't gotten there yet. But anyway, for the Northeast, it's just shown that 8 states have actually worked together where their quality assurance program are very similar. Okay? Any other thing on the org chart that may raise your eye on? I guess I'd say there, notice on the right, design builder, construction quality manager, they have a Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering. So is that good for construction? To have an engineer in charge of your project? Probably a good idea. On the left, design, still engineer, but notice, 10 years experience. Does that mean anything to you when you say, is 10 years experience good enough for you? I guess the question, when I saw that, would be 10 years experience in what? Yeah, see, it's sort of in the details, so you got to watch what, again, when I mentioned to you yesterday in specs as far as may, should, shall, you need to follow it to read into the statement. What will the contractor read into it to get you what you want? You got to watch out for stuff like that. Don't leave yourself hanging. Okay, any other thoughts on that? Okay, a little bit more. Here's another org chart on design builder with their QC structure. Again, these are just examples. Notice if you, looks like most of the crowd is middle-aged and a little bit older. Only a few gray-haired people. Quite a few bald-haired people too, maybe. Okay. That if you do the regular old paperwork method, you guys go into electronic construction methods yet? Documentation? Okay. Your what? Site manager. Site manager? Okay, that's a good one. Just to recognize that as you move from hard copy to electronic, you need to make sure you transfer to forms documentation that you don't lose the substance of the information. And so you see here, we still, in this example, it still talks about formal checks and self-checks. Like in the old days, being on an assistant in a construction project, you have to double check the computations. How many guys used to do that? A few of you? That was always a fun time. Don't do, that's right. It's all computer generated, right? Numbers are never transposed, right? Right. Okay. So as far as the RFP related to quality, like I mentioned, the quality control plan, actually you may want to call it in the RFP a quality management plan. Again, terminology may be different depending on what you guys are already doing, and you may want to try, but this brings out talks about it's a recommended practice to require a single comprehensive document, which will bring in all those requirements. So when the contractor comes in, they have that readily available. If you've already got it developed, you can put it on your website and share it with everybody. The more people that have it and understanding it and implement it makes, you can see how it reduces the risk of impacting your project work later on. Okay, so the idea about the quality management plan, again, it brings in the factors of the quality control, acceptance, IA. Question?
Since Brian's not here, nobody else has spoken up yet. I would-
Okay.
What they've done in the past, they've used the same acceptance standards for design and build as they use for the other projects.
Okay.
The contractor needs to give them a list of quantities, the schedule of materials, and then they follow, we have standard operating procedure, CDOT has standard operating procedure 1.1, which is the acceptance schedule. And then they have different quality control plan requirements, different SOPs, and they're in. And what y'all done in the past, somebody correct me if I'm wrong. You're good, you're exactly what I was thinking. What they've done in the past is they've said, you know, here are our acceptance procedures and quality control procedures, and material standard operating procedures, and this is what you have to go by.
Okay, so on design build project, is everybody comfortable with how that's being administered?
Other bars work. Jamie? You did one of them, I mean, along the way. Yeah. I mean, the biggest issue, I guess, was the quantities and
Yeah, the quantities and that one, I don't think it ever made it into the RFP that they had to give us the quantities, so there's a little bit of a fight to get them to give those to us. They eventually did, but I mean, you know, we got to have that to get our testing schedule. So that's what we need, because we are going by the standard operating procedure.
Okay, yeah, so good comment, keep that in mind, because we'll get to the materials part of it, what you just mentioned, tying to that. And then keep in mind, again, the philosophy is it not only relates to the materials, but it also relates to design process, pre-award, and then construction. Because we're trying to key on that majority of people understand the materials aspects of quality assurance, but you can use that same approach to design and or quality. And actually, like yesterday, you guys are, yesterday you mentioned a bit on issues with right-of-way as an example, and some of the RFPs, or as a concern. Well, some states, they wrote into the RFP that the contractor shall have a quality control plan for right-of-way, which meant that the right-of-way agent for the contractor shall be certified, and that their staff shall show experience and or training to meet the Federal Highways Right-of-Way Uniform Relocation Act as amended administration. Okay, so by putting that into a contract, what I just mentioned for right-of-way, you think that would be a good idea? Most people would say, well, the state can do it, and a lot of states do the right-of-way, but in this case, a couple of states have tried nudging it over on the contractor's risk, where in reality, if you look at it, if you put that in as a condition for right-of-way, just like materials, and they actually administer it on your behalf properly, what does that help you guys do? It cuts your staff a lot loose to go focus in on other items again. So that's the one reason why I'm trying to bring up to your attention the three-legged stool. Whatever area you want to focus in on, build upon that kind of philosophy. Okay. On that so far? Okay, again with the quality management plan, talks about describing the quality control, various sections just recommended. So would you guys say your current quality control for materials has those kind of sections in it? To some level? Like John mentioned at the start, it depends how you actually implement it. So it's one of those things, a little more detail you put up front as far as what you're currently using, and if it's really working for you, better yet, hey, give it to the contractor, put somebody over in the contractor to be the champion of it, their gatekeeper, makes your guys' job should make your guys' job so much easier. But again, they'll probably charge you a little bit more maybe, but again, it may give you a little more comfort where the contractor is stepping up their ante as far as self-policing, and again, reduces the risk of you guys having to chase them for correction.